Hey people, welcome back to another vlog. I hope you're well. I have a coffee in hand. I've got some questions that you guys have asked on Instagram. I put a poll out this morning and I've selected 10 questions to go through. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yes, it's November. Yes, I got my tree up and the fuck what. So first question is there a way I can find out my body fat percentage while at home with no help? So you can use them scales with the bioimpediment, I think they're called, but basically it's the ones with the metal, the two metal things on your feet. I don't really know how to explain it, but that can give you a body fat percentage. What I will say though is the only person who cares about your body fat percentage is probably you. It doesn't really matter too much. Like for example, if you go down a beach, and I say this with scale weight as well, if you go down a beach, people compliment you on how you look rather than saying, do you know your exact body fat percentage? No one really cares. On stage, no one cares either, right? So yeah, you can try the scales. They're probably not going to be that accurate, but that's a way of doing it if you have no other ways of doing it. But again, I at no point in my training career have I ever even contemplated guessing my body fat percentage, mainly because I don't care. Next question. That isn't a dig at the person asking this question, by the way. I just think that most people care too much about their body fat percentage. They should be looking at other things like training performance and visual looks instead of the exact body fat percentage. Anyway, you can tell I dislike body fat percentage as a whole. When does prep start and end? So prep's going to start the first week of January, and it's going to end depending on if I make it to Worlds, around that. So it'll be May, and if I go to Worlds, I think it's like June, and then potentially I could stretch it to July, but realistically, it's probably going to be June latest. So yeah, Jan to June. That's pretty much where it's going to start and stop. But very excited to start prep. Very excited to start prep. I actually posted on Instagram today stating how much I'm excited for prep. Anyway, next question. What do you think to wide grip pull down not working the lat optimally? This whole optimal thing around the lat is very and not annoying, it's just so nitty gritty. I think for most people, if you want to train the lat optimally, I think you're going to have to come in front and like kind of at a supinated grip, so you're kind of at this grip here. But to be honest, when you go like a wide grip pull down variation, you're going to be hitting the upper back as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think if you're trying to solely isolate the lat, yeah, probably the supinated grip, or just having it really tight to the lat. But having it out to the side when you've got like a wide grip pull down doesn't mean no lat. It just means more of other things, which into some context is okay. Because essentially, like, you're in the gym for a very short amount of time. It's like, do you really want to isolate the lat, or do you want to get as much as possible? It's like a bent over row, for example, is a great kind of a example here. It's like, where does the bent over row realistically hit? It hits everywhere, right? Does it hit the lat optimally? Does it hit the mid back optimally? Does it hit the upper back optimally? No, but it's hitting everywhere. It's kind of a one massive movement. So I think if you're trying to isolate your lat, it's probably like wide grip pull downs probably aren't the best for it. However, if you're just going to work out and you want to like have a bigger back, I see no issue with this. It's certainly not wrong, we'll put it that way, because essentially we're getting to the point now where on Instagram we're being told things are wrong and right, and there's ways to do things better and worse, but it doesn't mean it's completely wrong. You're still going to get big lats by doing pull downs, or traditional pull downs, and we've proved that for many years. Next question. How do you know when the masking phase is done? I think for me personally, it comes down to the point of training performance and also like general ability to pack in food. So appetite, training performance diminishes, and things like lethargy really kick for most people. So general like day to day, like even getting out of bed's quite tough. Just generally walking up the stairs is tough, right? So I think like on a day-to-day basis, if you're getting them proxies, and it's tapping into life too much and training ultimately, then it's time to call it a day. You got to think, if you're like at the peak training performance, your strength is like at its best ever. It's not really moving, and you're pushing in food and pushing in food, and body weight's going up and up and up, and training performance is settling. That increase in weight is quite literally going to be just scale weight fat. So yeah, actually, one of the questions is correlated to this. It says pushing food and weight is going up, but gym lifts aren't budging. This is a good sign of potentially, yeah, like there's a few things to obviously go through, but potentially this could be a sign of pulling back in terms of maybe potentially having like a little maintenance phase, or pulling back in terms of like a mini cut and then going again. That question could actually be answered in the fact of maybe you're accumulating too much fatigue in the mesocycle. You need to deload. Maybe worth assessing sleep, see if that can budget. Yeah, you could obviously pull back as stated. And then, yeah, maybe worth changing a few movements around. That could be another one. Obviously, gym lifts could be a little bit stale for you. So, yeah, that's kind of answered two questions in one. So, yeah, I hope that has anyway. Next question, dream car. I'm not going to lie. I drive an 04 Fiesta and I drive a T-Roc, a Volkswagen. So, like, I'm not really a car guy. I'm not gonna lie. I would be lying if I said I was interested in cars. I'd say maybe the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck, maybe that. But that's just because it's just different, and I'm different. And Viva Elon. Next question. I have a home gym and my barbell rows are becoming stagnant. What to change with? If you have a rack and a barbell, you could try something like inverted rows, which is like lockdown PTSD right now, but that's basically all I did. So I transitioned from barbell bent over rows to inverted rows, and they grew back. So yeah, you could try that. You could obviously load on the front. You could have like a backpack or something, or just plates on the front. So that might help you out a little bit. So yeah, I think that's obviously a good one to go through. If you haven't, yeah, if you haven't got anything else basically, or quite simply, if you've got dumbbells, then double bent over row is another option. Best Nespresso pods whilst I drink this. I think the most recent one is up there. I think it's like hazelnut. They did one last year that was called Cuba, and that's probably the best one. They're like £1 a pod though, so yeah, it did get quite expensive, but that's also good. They also do a pumpkin spice one. I don't know if they still do it, but the pumpkin spice one is also good. So that's three that I think are the best. Next question. Any real benefit in having training day and non-training day calories? I feel like yes, and also you can say no. So the reason why I like having it personally is I can modulate someone's rate of gain very easily via training day and non-training day calories. So you've got that. So you can basically tweak and adjust very, very tightly with training day and non-training day calories. Also in a massing phase, as we just established, like kind of back in the vlog, is that your appetite could be screwed. You could get to the off season or in an off season where appetite is just so tanked all the time. Non-training day just allows that like time off, fucking pounding away food. So there's that benefit as well. But there's also like another reason why some of my clients don't use this, and it's quite simply because number one, they're not bodybuilders. So like not everyone has to have training day and non-training day calories, and also it can get a little bit head fucky. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're very much kind of anxious in the world of like, I need my meals to be like this every single day, it can be hard to go, right, okay, one day I need this, one day I need this, and it's just maybe not practical. Again, if you're working loads and loads of hours, again, as another piece of context, if you're working loads and loads of hours and then I'm getting you to do like training day, non-training day calories, and you're just like, just give me my fucking macros for the day. So that's another rationale for it. So yeah, there's a big benefit to it, but there's also the impracticality standpoint where some people don't like it, and it's definitely yeah, it's definitely something that we have to look at as coaches. Is obviously not everyone is a bodybuilder, and not everyone has the time to, and the kind of thought capacity to have different days, different macros. So yeah. Last question. Would you train with man flu? Yes, I think so. I think that my general rule of thumb is, as long as you're not pissing shit, shitting piss, or vomiting, I think you're okay. I think if you've got like a headache, or if you're cold, like got a cold, general like sniffles and kind of sore throat and stuff like that, I think you're okay. I think you can train through that. I think is like, if you're not like bed bound, for example. To be honest, I think this question is mainly answered as kind of like common sense. Like, everyone knows if they can train or not. So if you're vomiting, shitting, then obviously no. The kind of answer is no. If you're laid up in bed and can't move, the question or the answer is no. If you can obviously do most of your day-to-day things, but you've got sniffles and cold, yeah, you could probably train. So yeah, that was today's questions. I hope you answered well. Hope I answered well. Anyway, I'm gonna get to my actual work day now. Peace. Hope you're well. If you have any questions, put them in the question box and I'll answer them. See ya.